Once again, we are live to the Modern Mystery School and UK YouTube channel and podcast. And today we have another Dr. Kate on the show. I mean, can you believe it? It's so exciting. And it's really, really fun to talk to you today, Dr. Kate. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am very excited because you are, reading your bio, you are very accomplished. I mean, I was blown away and I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to talk to you because I want to know, with all your accomplishments, with all your research, with all your, your background, why did you want to be initiated, or what called you, or what drew you? Can you share?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, I would say the main piece in my life, like that, I just started following what I was called towards, kind of at a young age. So one of my first experiences, actually, when I was in my early teens, was going into a library. At that point, there were libraries, and going in there and just wandering around and looking for what I was drawn to. And I was drawn to books on psychology, art, and religion, or spirituality. And this kind of began my journey. And I learned over time that the more that I did that, the better the results. And so when I got to the introduction of the mystery school, which I actually found through through some online research. I was doing some research. I was exploring. I've always been a seeker. I've always been curious about what it is that's out there. So I was exploring, and I came across the mystery school, and I thought, well, why not? I've never tried this before. And I was told that a life activation was my first step. And so I took my first step, and the clarity of the energy that came through in the healing, and the way that the practitioner held the work. I had been studying healing for a long time, and I'd been exploring. I've been involved in my own spiritual development. But the clarity of both of those things had me perk up and pay attention. I was like, what's going on here? There's something that's here that isn't. So I went in kind of very, very open, very blank, very not expecting really anything besides I'm an explorer. I like to see what it is that's out there. And then when I saw those things and I was presented with the next step of initiation, I thought, yes, I want to take a next step, and so that was really the process. It was a call from deeper inside of me. I wouldn't say that there was a lot of mental process, like, oh, I should do this, or I'm looking for this, or this would be a good next step, but more that there was that call from inside that I've been following my whole life, and that there was this recognition of something very special.
I love that because, there's so many successful people out there that I speak to, and it's so interesting. We have that drive, that to know more, to seek, and it's like, oh, and yes, I do remember these things called libraries. They were also they were great, and what a joy it is, as well. I find is when you find it, like the life activation or initiation, and you have that deeper aha, there's something here. I 100% agree. So fast forward, however many years later, you've decided to be a guide in the mystery school and to share initiation with your community, with people that you know. What drove you to that point? So we, you had your initiation, and then what drove you then to want to be able to share it with others?
Well, first of all, it was a journey, right? So when I walked in the door, and I first got my initiation, there have been points where I wanted to step forward, but I wasn't really looking down the road that far, actually. And so my whole life, I have looked for ways to help. And so first, it was really to help myself out of some very difficult stuff. And then as I started to get some things that worked, it seemed natural to pass those tools along and in whatever capacity I could. And then it's just like I started to become a connoisseur and analyzer of what worked, of what didn't work, of where really people could get the most amount of help. So I studied a lot of different methods, and I would look at them all and I try them out and be like, and this works for this person and in this situation, and it helps like this. And then I would reach, okay, and here's where it starts to get limited. Here's where we're not getting the results anymore. And I'd look at new ways of fusing things, because I was fascinated and intrigued with the idea of like finding ways to help people and to decrease suffering. So that's a passion of mine. Like everything, like I'm willing to question anything or try anything for that end. And so as I approached the mystery school, I started studying various different aspects with the school. You know, I applied some of the same approaches. Some of those have really served me, and some of those have been limiting, because actually the way that a lot of the things in the mystery school work are outside of some of the systems that I'd used to analyze them. And so that actually led to a whole new education. And I'm still, you know, growing inside of that, because it's such a vast uncovering. However, in that process, I started to look at what is working, how is it working, even when I didn't want it to work, or I didn't think it would work, or whatever. I was looking at like what's really happening here. And what I came to over time, and you know, I'm a real tester, you know, so I like to really see like how things are actually working. And so in that, what I came to see is that there is a clear and defined way, not in the sense of like instantaneously you do this and you get a result, but that there's actually a path, and that path truly leads people out of darkness. And it's not necessarily the easiest path to walk, but it does work. And so that to me is why, above anything else, like all of like anything else that is there. And I get a lot of questions along the way about like this. And it's just like, so above and beyond anything else is, if there is something that works, if there is something that helps people, if that allows them to connect more fully with spirit, with God, with their own, like to realize their own healing, then yes, why wouldn't I want to support that? And then the next piece is like, of course, I want it to happen as quickly as possible. So I'm always going to try and use the best tools. And so this is a powerful tool and path, a way to help people move out of suffering and to be able to realize something entirely different about their experience. And so I want to be part of that.
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm all for efficiency. So I'm all for efficiency. I'm like, listen, if there's a way and it works, I'm there, you know. And that's mystery school. I'm like, okay, initiation, activation, initiation. That's it. Go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. It's so fun. And you know, however many people I speak to, the wonderful thing is that it gets so many different results, because everybody is so unique and so you know, amazing gifts, and I'm amazed time and time again when I speak to people and how their life is transformed. So from your perspective, do you think that mystery school initiation is limited? Is it for everybody, or should only certain people come forward? What do you feel?
That's such an interesting question. I think a lot about it. So I would say that what I say now is that the base pieces of life activation and initial initiation are good for everyone that I'm speaking to. I mean, I don't know how to expand beyond that. I can say that so that because they provide people with two very powerful components that help them, support them energetically. So that can't hurt. It's just like, so going beyond that, what a person going beyond that, that to me starts to get into layers of what they're called to do, what their personal mission, purpose, unfolding is. I don't have that answer, because as you said, it's very unique for every person. And that's the thing that each person, I believe, needs to find in themselves and in their heart. However, these first steps can support anyone who's looking. Maybe that's the way to qualify it, and in a really good way.
I think that's interesting. Yeah, I agree, because we always say, in the mystery school, is like, come and experience and try it for yourself. And then there's so many different options that you can, and if you feel called, then come to Healers Academy and RM and all the rest of it. And it's so fascinating, because I too agree, the foundation of the life activation and initiation is just too good to pass up. I mean, it really is. It's just like, if somebody came to me and said, what should I do? I could do two things, they would be it. Okay, just do those. And then, the rest will, fall into place for you, so yeah, I totally get that. It is. And it's lovely, isn't it, that on the path, everybody has free choice and free will to choose what they want to do and when they feel called. And that's such an important, part of this. Just a quick question about lineage. I mean, people ask me this, and it's really hard sometimes to quantify it if you haven't had a direct experience. But from your direct experience, what's the difference between like a lineage teachings and tools as to non-lineage? What has been your experience?
Yeah, and building off what we were just saying too, I mean, one of the powerful things about the life activation is that it helps to set people's energy body, because they're doing a lot of different practices. And this is like a reset and foundation that's very supportive across the board. And I would say that is at the heart of also what is important about lineage, right? So there's lineage. One piece is that it's a path, and that it is actually a path that's been walked over time. So in that, we pride ourselves, especially Americans, I think, pride ourselves on like doing it our way and, figuring it out. And we're going to figure out the new path. But there is something incredibly powerful about a path that has been walked time and time again by different people. What I'll often say to people is, look out there. If you look at what spiritual teachers have said over time, they're not saying different things. They might be saying it different ways, but there's commonalities between all of it. And this is like points towards a path a little bit. And so, but there's a path that you can follow that has been walked, that has like resulted into a certain outcome. And so we can trust in that. And so it gives us parameters, but it also gives us energetic clarity. And that's what I was talking about with the life activation that I saw. That is what I just mentioned now. The energetic clarity is incredibly important, because we don't actually, we don't know where the fuzziness is a lot of the times. We don't know where the confusion is. We don't know why we keep bumping into walls. We don't know why we're not getting progress a lot of the time, because we're doing our best with the tools that we have. But it is actually when we start to get that clarity, when we see energetic clarity, we feel energetic clarity, we start to know and how to work and connect with it. And then we start to see, understand what it means to be in a path, on a path, that we gain in our empowerment, we gain in our ability to progress, and we have a vital, powerful tool that we can use in our life. So it's an incredibly clarifying. And one of the biggest problems that people are facing is around discernment, especially the people that are involved in healing, that are out there in all sorts of practices. The ability to discern where they're going off the rails, what's the stuff that's working and what's the stuff that's not working, is often not there, leading to a lot of confusion. And Lineage helps with that.
I love that. Thank you so much. I mean, our time has flown by. It's just flown by, but I hope hopefully you will come back on the show and we'll talk about some other topics. And I know if you want to reach out to Dr. Kate and for a life activation or initiation, please contact her. She's got a wealth of knowledge, and you'll be in very, very good hands. What area do you cover, Dr. Kate? Just so people know.
I am in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, and I'm also working in New England, in the United States.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experiences. And I know that's going to inspire a lot of people out there. So thank you for taking the time. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to see you.
And goodbye, everyone. We will chat soon. Bye-bye.